First of all, I want to tell you I'm not going to make you cry. So relax. But I do want to make you think. What if I told you that a defiant runaway teen would end up creating an award-winning program that helps hundreds of young people on the pathway to success? Or that a mid-career mom laid off after 25 years in the insurance industry would go on to be an executive admin to a CEO? Would you be surprised to learn that a homeless, incarcerated man in recovery is going to go on to run a major chain restaurant in San Francisco, hire scores of formerly incarcerated men and women, and raise the ranking of that store from number 800 in the nation to number 4? Well, meet Davida, Francine, and Jeff. And they have done just that. There are a lot of people like Davida and Francine and Jeff in our communities, loaded with potential, but too often overlooked. Why are they overlooked? Oftentimes, very often, it's because they simply don't have the skills that employers need. And I'm talking about skills that if we could get them into their hands, they could be successful. What if we could get these skills into their hands? What if these formerly unstable lives could become stable and doors open up that have been closed to them? I'm Barry Hathaway, CEO of JobTrain. For over 50 years, JobTrain has been providing a pathway out of poverty and into stability for low-income men and women to help them get from where they are to where they want to be. In the San Francisco Bay Area where we're based, 1.6 million people are living in poverty, and half of them are working. In an area where unemployment is at an all-time historic low, 1 in 10 people are still struggling to make ends meet. I'm talking about people like you and me, but people who have these big challenges in getting access to the skills they need for the careers that are going to lead them to stability. And once they have stability, again, doors are going to open up for them. So how do we address this issue at JobTrain? Well, 50 years gives us a lot of time to figure things out, as it turns out. And we have developed this sort of 3-stage model that is designed to help people gain access to high-wage careers to meet them exactly where they are. And so the 3-stage model we call, here's a creative name, the steps to stability. The first step in this model is when we are delivering stabilization services and access to benefits that help a person meet their most basic needs. Next, we deliver a series of skills programs that upskill a person in areas like ESL, GED, digital skills, which make them more competitive in the moment, but also prepare them for rigorous job training programs that they can engage in with us. And then finally, JobTrain delivers career training programs in emerging and high-wage fields, in 4 emerging and high-wage fields. And those fields include healthcare, construction, culinary arts, and of course, technology. And this model, this 3-step model, it creates a kind of an on-ramp that gives a person that they can step onto that ramp wherever it makes the most sense for them. And guess what? It works. How do we know it works? Well, in our last fiscal year, just recently completed, 500 students went through our job training program. So that's the top tier of the steps. 85% of them completed their training, which in and of itself is pretty amazing, but 80% of those who completed have gone on to get jobs, earning an average entry-level wage of $45,000 a year. And based on historical results, we expect that 81% of them will still be working a year later. Remember Davida? So Davida ran away from home, dropped out of high school, and very quickly began seeing that her opportunities and options were diminishing, frankly, along with her hope. She found JobTrain based on the advice of her sister, as it turns out, and ultimately decided to engage and enroll in JobTrain's culinary arts program. She did very well in the class, had a great internship, and right away launched into a job in the culinary arts field. And this is where the magic starts to happen, because now Davida was stable. And with that stability, opened up a whole new world of options that simply weren't available to her trying to make it through life day by day by day. In Davita's case, what she realized she wanted was to work with young people just like herself. And given that Davita is who she is, she went on to go to work at a continuation school, invented an award-winning program to help young people just like her to succeed. And her version of stability is doing what she wanted to do, and she's doing that now. Francine had been working for this small insurance company since she was a teenager. They moved out of state, and 25 years later, she loses her job. Now, she had no idea what to do next. She was lost and very worried about providing for her family. She found JobTrain and realized that what she really wanted was to stay in this office environment, but she needed to tool up. So she went through our business office admin course, tooled up, got a job working as a sort of a clerical assistant. Within 6 months, she'd been promoted to the admin to the chief operations officer. And last month, I have it on good advice, that she just got promoted to the executive admin to the CEO of that company. And that company, by the way, is JobTrain, and that CEO is me. So I know she got that job. Finally, I want to tell you about Jeff. So, while Jeff, a man in recovery, was incarcerated, he got to come to JobTrain's culinary arts training program. Now think about that. He's in jail, and he's coming out of prison on a work furlough program to get training. He got trained, he got his first job at Panera Bread, his first culinary arts job at Panera Bread, while he was still incarcerated. And when he was released, he stayed with Panera Bread in San Francisco. They saw the talent in him. He rose through the ranks in the organization. Within a couple of years, he was the general manager of the Panera Bread in San Francisco. And importantly, along the way, he hired scores of men and women from JobTrain's program, many formerly incarcerated, and together they raised the ranking of this store from 800 in the nation to number 4 in the nation. There are not just a few of these success stories for JobTrain graduates, there are many. And all this success leads to a return on investment that we think would catch the eye of any investor. For every dollar that's invested in JobTrain, in the first year after graduation alone, $2 are returned in the form of increased wages and decreased government spending. And because we've been around for a long time, we have the ability to know that a graduate from JobTrain is likely to still be employed 10 years later. In fact, 70% of JobTrain graduates are still working 10 years later. This means that return on investment gets compounded year after year after year. So what's next? Now imagine, here we are, this organization, this place-based organization, incredibly successful programs, world-class outcomes, in an area that is so expensive to live that if we can solve this problem in the San Francisco Bay Area where, fun fact, think about how much you think a family of 4 should need to earn in order to make ends meet. Pick a number, and I'll tell you that in San Francisco, that number is $117,000 a year. If we can solve this problem in the San Francisco Bay Area, other communities can benefit from these very same programs, and that's what we intend to do. We're currently expanding our programs regionally. In the midterm, we're going to expand across the state of California. And ultimately, we're going to bring our programs nationwide. We think in the next 3 to 5 years. Obviously, that's going to take some help. But it all comes down to one simple, important, and very straightforward fact, that stability creates opportunity. And that stability is what we want for our communities at large. There are people now who have graduated from JobTrain who are stable and thriving and contributing to the local economy. And those people are inspiring their families, and they're inspiring their communities, and they're inspiring generations to come to have a better life. When a person becomes stable, they pass that stability on to their children, they pass that stability on to their family and to the community, and everybody wins. Just ask these folks. Thank you.